Hello, welcome. Good to be back on YouTube. Thanks for joining. Just wanted to do a quick live stream here and discuss some of the things that happened in 2025, some of the exciting stuff, play some of the things, and answer some questions as well. So let me know if you have questions in the chat. It has been a huge year. It's gone really, really fast, as most of you probably would say. And gosh, where do we begin? I guess just personally, I composed some new pieces, which I was really happy with. I did record an album, Chopin for guitar, and also had another baby, so my fourth child this year. So it's been, big year, I guess. And CCG, the creative classical guitarist, has just produced so much music. We've got a couple of books from two members here. Nigel Jones published his book earlier this year, and Robin Teese published his book of 6 new guitar pieces there. So they're available on Amazon. But that's just the absolute tip of the iceberg. So I think what I'll do is I'll start first of all. I'll just play some of the pieces that I composed earlier this year, just a little bit of them, just to give you a taste, and then we'll take a look at some of the work that's been done by the creative classical guitar members, including Nigel and Robin over there with their books. So this year, so earlier in the year, I should get this guitar out. Earlier this year, I was asked to play at an Aboriginal art exhibition, and one of the exhibits there was a guitar that was not painted on, but I don't remember the type of. Let me pull it out. I'll actually get it. Wasn't planning on doing this. So this is the guitar here. It's built by High Country Guitars, which is David Hole and Rachel, who run that. It's up in Mansfield, a pretty new guitar making facility there that they run up in Mansfield, High Country Guitars. The artist who did this, his name's Iluka, and his art is featured on trams here in Melbourne and around various places. Really, really cool artist. So I was asked to play this guitar at that exhibit, and that happened back in about April, I think, or maybe earlier. I can't remember when exactly. I think it was but sort of like the first few months, somewhere towards the start of the year. And so I composed a piece, especially for that event. I really felt that it was appropriate to compose a piece and to have some sort of like Aboriginal, inspiration to sort of match the exhibit. I didn't want to play Bach or like classical guitar music, like classical music in that kind of setting. So the piece Dabana was born from that, and play it on this guitar. I could try. So this is a beautiful eagle that's been, I think it's like wood burning how that's achieved. So I will play Dabana right now. On this guitar. So this is made in Australia. Take this overview is going to, I have to fly through this. I probably won't play the whole piece because there's so much to talk about. So this is a little bit of Dabana. Okay, so this is just a little bit of that piece. So that's kind of fairly, big event that happened at the beginning, towards the beginning of the year, and throughout the year, I, managed to compose a few more pieces here and there. And to sort of parallel that a little bit, a piece that I wrote not too long after that is called Refraction. And what I'm kind of going for here with, hey Kiam, good to see you in the chat. What I'm trying to go for here is a sort of a modern, edgy sort of, language, I guess, sound type of piece. And this just really came out of nowhere, and it's inspired by refraction, which is like when light goes through a prism and it splits and bends and all that sort of thing. So I'll play a little bit of this. It's called Refraction. So yeah, there's a couple of pieces that this year that I composed. Having started a school called the Creative Classical Guitarist, I think it's important that I lead by example, at least a little bit. There is a lot of work that goes into running a school, the curriculum, the events, checking on assignments, that sort of thing. But I think it's really important that I also compose and hopefully lead by example as well. And I was very honored. Yesterday we had a wonderful recital. I'm jumping around here all over the year, but we had a wonderful recital yesterday by Emma, I think who's in the chat, Emma Carson, and she played a whole set of my pieces on the piano. So she played my guitar music on the piano, and she played Refraction in that program, and that's probably a highlight of the year for me, to hear a whole set of pieces that I wrote on guitar and hear them on the piano and played so well. So we had recitals this month in December. We had recitals earlier in the year as well. I'll go now to talk about some members. This could take hours, so I have to do this really quickly. It's kind of hard to summarize everything so fast, but these I'll play some pieces here, fragments. I'll just play some excerpts from these books. So these were published this year. Nigel's a great guitar player. Guitarist and educator based in Wollongong, New South Wales, currently serves as head of guitar at the Wollongong Conservatorium of Music. So, yeah, we've got just solo guitar pieces in here, fantastic pieces that Nigel composed over the past sort of few years, I think, here, and published on Amazon. And this is something I encourage you to do if you're a composer. You've written it. There's no gatekeepers nowadays for publishing. You can self-publish very easily. So this is a little bit of a piece called New Beginnings. Just a little excerpt of that. Nigel also composed an Allemande. Hey Parvo, thanks so much. That means a lot coming from yourself, because I'd imagine that style of music you'd resonate with a bit. So it's good to see you here, Parvo. Nigel composed an Allemande. I think he did this late last year. So usually towards the end of the year we compose an Allemande, and I'll go through that in a minute. Our sort of curriculum over the year, but this is a bit of Nigel's Allemandes in his book, and we actually just had a whole bunch of Allemandes composed in the past few months as well. So brand new Allemandes. I don't know how many in total. We've probably got close to, I don't know, 30, 40 or something Allemandes that have been composed from our course. So this is a little bit of Nigel's Allemande. Beautiful. I'll do a little bit of one more because you can see that Nigel's composing styles are quite versatile. So this is called Choro para Adam, Choro for Adam. So this is written in a Choro style, like a Brazilian sort of style. Get that in tune. Okay, so yeah, really nice, really nice variety of pieces. And then here's a little bit from Robin's book. Robin published a book, I think, a couple of months ago. Some beautiful, images in here, and beautiful array of pieces as well. So we have, what's the first piece that we've got? Prelude for guitar. Play a little bit of Robin's Prelude for guitar. So beautiful. I don't want to stop playing these pieces, but I'm just giving you a taste of these things. And then we have something in a bit of a Bach style. It's called An Imperfect Pearl. So on, beautiful writing. So anyway, so there's some excerpts of a couple of those books that we've had published this year. My goodness, we barely scratched the surface of what's happened this year. But so we saw the guitar, the Aboriginal inspired artwork on there. We've had some books published. What else has happened? I recorded Chopin for guitar. So I got to play a little bit of Chopin. We had the famous Nocturne on there. Arranged by Tadega. We had a really nice waltz arranged by Mario Parodi. Got one of my favorite passages in it. And on that album, I actually included a mazurka that I composed a few years ago, heavily inspired by Chopin. I played a little bit of that, and we did hear Emma play that yesterday on the piano, and that was incredible to hear this on the piano because it really is inspired by the piano, by Chopin's piano writing. So that's just the first part of that mazurka. So there's a few things, a few kind of events that have happened over the year, and now we'll take a look at some of the things on the Creative Classical Guitarist. There's so much, I can't do this in one live stream, so I'll just be sort of picking. I'll just be going over some of the things that we've focused on basically. So here we are in the Creative Classical Guitarist. So we have multiple programs running throughout the year. They are timed live events, but there are also materials and pre-recorded workshops and that type of thing, quizzes and that type of thing in here as well. So that's really what sort of, rotates the year, if you know what I mean. The yearly calendar sort of revolves around these things. So we have our foundation composing curriculum. Here we started by learning about MuseScore, so introduction to composing. I could play a little bit of now, something's coming to mind. We had a new member named Freddie, and he composed something. Here we go. He composed something based on this very task, so I'll play that for you. I know you can't see it on the screen, but I'm not going to. I can't share it so quickly, but I'll just play it for you. So this is what Freddie composed this using the materials from Foundation Composing. Anyway, I could keep playing. Beautiful writing, just an example of the sort of productivity that we see. So we were exploring MuseScore shortcuts, composing, getting familiar with the software MuseScore, because when you compose using some kind of software, it's really important to understand how the software works and just the basics of structuring a piece and that sort of thing. So that's where we started. Then we looked at triads, and this actually has been I guess, optimized now. So we have each part here. If you take the course, if you want to do it by self-study, you can, but we also have events. So in February, we'll be discussing triads during our live events for Foundation Composing, but you can also do this in your own time as well. So we talk about the basic theory of triads. We learn about the 4 types: augmented, major, minor, and diminished. And then we've got a quiz. Then we learn about how they're organized in a key. Same thing, you can play the triads of a key, and then there's a quiz. Excuse me, a quiz there. We learn about manipulating triads, things like inversions, doubling, spacing, things like that. And then we have inversions that you can practice, and then a quiz, and then passing tones. We learn about the main types of passing tones. Then you can practice them, and then there's a quiz on those. And then the main task is to harmonize Twinkle Twinkle Little Star and synthesize everything together there. So that's month 1. There's a lot in 1 month there, isn't there? Then we go to 7th chords, and it's very much a similar process. Some theories presented, you have some practical tasks, and then there are some quizzes as well. And then we just keep moving in advancing chord substitutions, modulation. By that point, by about the middle of the year, you have the tools to understand pretty much any, like classical tonal, we say common practice period, anything that is written in the common practice style, meaning using major and minor and standard chords, and you basically should have a pretty solid understanding of music by the time you end the end of June. And then we get a bit more advanced. So we talk about advanced tools, melodic development, that sort of thing, and then we finished with composing and Allemande. So that's that in a nutshell. It's like skimming through this, but that's okay. For our advanced composing group, we covered very different things. We had a challenge in January. Each day we had a sort of a prompt to help inspire your writing. Oh, here we go. So day 1, simple progression in a high position, and I think I've used Trish's examples here. So we have these high position chords. 4 bars, but that's the goal, right? Is that you're exploring these different prompts. So that's going to kick us off in January of next year as well. But we will probably have some different prompts though. Parallel harmony, we got these beautiful examples to play. So that was January. Then we looked at writing for string quartet, and that was fantastic. We had some wonderful string quartet arrangements. Robin did some wonderful arrangements of The Girl with the Flaxen Hair. I think he did that for string quartet. So we looked at the string quartet and how you can essentially orchestrate something for a string quartet instrument, with the instrumentation, learning about instruments. Then we looked at The Girl with the Flaxen Hair. We had some beautiful impressionistic type pieces come out of that. I could play a little bit of, there are a couple I know. I know Kiem, you wrote one, Kiem, called, I can't say the name. Has the translation. I've only got the French name here, so something of a uncertain path. Anyway, maybe Kim, you can, if you're there, you can pop in the name. I've recorded it too. Play a little bit of this. It's a beautiful, beautiful piece here. I don't want to stop playing these, but there's just no time to play through all these pieces, Beautiful piece there, so we looked at that. Next month we looked at Gymnopedy number 1, and here we had a great gymnopedy written by Bobby. Let's see if I can find this one. This is a wonderful. I also recorded this, although I don't know if it's on my channel, but it is on her channel. And it's called Homage à Satie. So I'll play a little bit of this. Oops. Again, it's so hard to stop playing these things, Oops, what's that? Okay. Just beautiful music. You see how we're getting a bit more kind of modern sounding here, using lots of seventh chords and just modeling some of the things that Debussy and Satie did to try and get us outside of the typical standard sort of common practice harmony, but still in a very accessible language as well. Then we went to arranging for wind quintet, so we saw some wonderful examples of wind quintet. We learned about what were the instruments here? We learned about, let's see what the registers here, flute, oboe, English horn, clarinet. So we looked at woodwind instruments and their ranges, their strengths and weaknesses, things like that. Then we went to brass. We did the same thing: trumpet, trombone, tuba, French horn, that sort of thing. Looking at their range, how they're used in orchestras, their strengths and weaknesses, how to orchestrate. If you've got one horn, if you've got if you got one trumpet, you should have two horns for like one trumpet, that sort of thing. There are like balance issues depending on the range. We didn't go super in depth to orchestration, but I felt it was important for guitarists to get outside of guitar music, and once you start orchestrating, I think it opens up new possibilities for your guitar composing. So then we did composing for orchestra. This was really fun. We looked at Tchaikovsky's Fifth Symphony, so and analyzed what he did, and very good stuff. Tchaikovsky's very, very crafty as a composer. He was taking little motives and just repeating them all the time. So that's in a nutshell what we did there. And we did see some wonderful orchestral works produced from these sessions as well. So we had our masterclasses this year. So through the year we go, each month we've got a different topic that we focus on. So we looked at technical, we looked at scales, we looked at left hand technique in January, and then in February we looked at the right hand and triads and so on. So each month has a sort of a theme to it. Probably the highlight here for me is obviously the masterclasses themselves. So people come along and play, people sign up, and it's always wonderful to work with different people and hear them play and offer suggestions. But the recitals are one of the highlights for me. So we have recitals in April, August, and December each year. So we are currently in a recital period right now, and it's just fantastic, to hear people very supportive, getting a supportive crowd, and to hear people play in their home, usually it's on Zoom, and to see the work that they've done over the months or the year, whatever it is. They pour in their hard work, and the recital is a great way to celebrate that hard work. So yeah, masterclasses are really about just playing, getting some feedback, and just becoming more comfortable, developing your skills at performing, playing for others, and being more comfortable with it. So we have masterclasses, and then the final one was, and this was really fun, the Arenas method. So we looked at a method book by Arenas, Mario Rodriguez Arenas. And we've gone through a lot. Book one, just in book one, we have rhythms, we have keys, we have major keys, we have minor keys. Then we went to book two with these wonderful technical exercises. So we looked at this, the start of the year, we had these scales like this kind of thing. There were lots more exercises. There was a movable barring exercise that goes like this. A tremolo exercise. How did I go? Like this. Anyway, it's hard to summarize all this, but then we looked at book three recently. We looked at ornaments and effects. Yeah, ornaments and effects. So we looked at various ornaments and then some effects like imitating other instruments actually. Vibrato, campanella, tambura, trumpet, bassoon, and pizzicato. So yeah, lots of stuff there. That's a very, very quick summary. We've also got levels now. So that was introduced this year as well. We've got level 1 and level 2. And yeah, members are going through that. There's one, Johannes is going through this at lightning speed. You can see in these updates, Johannes, great job. You are going through it. Look at that. That's awesome. So he's just going through, he's completing the tasks. Amazing. And then level 2 came out just a couple months ago, maybe 2-3 months ago. And so this just builds on a lot of the things from level 1. So we had levels come out as well. I think I'm going to need to finish very soon. So I'm going to finish by talking about routines now. Oh, we've got some action in the chat here. Glimmer of an uncertain path. Thanks, Emma. That was Kim's piece, Glimmer of an Uncertain Path. Bobby, hey, good to see you. Keep up the great work. That Gymnopody is fantastic. One of my favorites in that style, honestly, to play. So, yeah. So let's talk about routines and that sort of thing. So one of the things that we will be doing on CCG is putting together for each quarter. We'll have a routine. So let me grab this here. And I had a question about this from Thomas as well. So this was our most recent routine, and it includes the rule of the octave. I've got some sort of suggested practice things here, focus, things to focus on. So this is the rule of the octave. I'll scan through it first and then talk through it. This is 100 pages, so it's a lot of stuff. But the goal is not to go through all of it. The goal is to use it as a routine based on how much time you have, basically. And then we had analysis of Carcassi. So what do? Look for these things, look for those things when you're analyzing these pieces. So we had that. And then we had, there's lots of stuff there, great stuff, really good for sight reading. Compose an allemande in the style of Bach, so that was another focus. So I've got a method here called outlining. So you basically follow this method, and you could potentially print this out if you wanted to and write the music in. I would suggest doing it on MuseScore, but you could go old school, print it out, write it in by hand. So that's a template there. And then beauties and effects. So these are various things like a vibrato. There's an example here that's marking in vibrato where to apply the vibrato. Campanella, tambura, which is like a drum kind of effect like that, and there's more effects as well. So you can go through those and play through those. And then we have the last part, speed development, which was our masterclass topic. So some of the things to focus on: playing soft and light, reducing accents, reducing tension, economy of movement, chunks and bursts, hands separate. And we have Giuliani's Opus 1's great because we have the famous 120 right hand studies, these ones. And all those combinations. And then we also have left hand type studies, or interval studies, thirds, sixths, octaves and tenths. So we have these type of things. Really great for your speed development as well. And then there are studies at the end, which are also fantastic. They're kind of short, they're not super difficult, so make for really good speed development studies. You could take this first one, right? And one of the main approaches to speed development is to practice things in bursts. So what I would do is take 1 or 2 or 3 measures and hone in on them and try to develop my speed that way. I'm going to do that much, right? And then think about the fingerings, optimizing the fingerings. I can do more preparation, get more notes ready with my left hand, that sort of thing. There's all sorts of methods that we speak about regarding speed development. So yeah, so this is the routine. This is the November, December, October, November, December, those 3 months. Actually no, September to December. So you got 4 months here to just dive into this routine. And so there will be a routine starting in January, February, March, April. January to April, you'll have a similar sort of routine that you can use to practice with. So I'm going to finish on this. We had a question from Thomas on CCG. He asked about how do you connect these chords, right? This is called the rule of the octave. It's a chord progression. The bass line's going up in a scale. Each note's being harmonized in a really specific way. But yeah, the first thing to do with this is to practice, just play the chords and aim for fluency and knowing the chord, knowing how to play them well. Basically, that's the first step. Analysis should come later. So in that comes these types of things. So it really comes back to here: guide and anchor fingers, anticipation, snap motion. So guide and anchor fingers, you want to be aware of, are there any fingers that are holding down, or are there any fingers that are guiding on the same string? So for example, this fourth finger you can see on the C on the first string is going up to the D on the first string. That's a guide finger. This 2, which is on the fourth string, so the 2 and the 4 there can both slide up in the next chord. So there's actually 2 guide fingers. So you want to be very highly aware of guide fingers, because that makes transitions much easier when you keep those fingers down. Then the other thing is anticipation, which I wrote up here too, anticipation. So anticipation is where you're forming that next chord shape before you get there. So what I'm doing is the third and first fingers here are swapping around before I get to the chord. As I'm getting to the chord, I'm starting to reshape my fingers, except for the guide fingers. The guide fingers slide, and then the other fingers reshape as I'm getting there. So that's anticipation. And then the last one is called snap motion. This is basically where your fingers work together. So you don't want to do things like this and then have this and then have the fingers kind of like not working individually. You want them to be working together. That's when they work well for transition. So they all move at the same time. I like to imagine, I call it snap motion. It's like if you snap your fingers, right? Snap your fingers. It's just your fingers all together at the same time. They form that next chord shape. So that's called snap motion. So Thomas, I hope those tips help you think about guide fingers and anchor fingers. There won't be many anchor fingers, honestly, because the chords are changing positions quite a lot. But guide fingers, there are lots of guide fingers. Really, really important. Then think about anticipation. That's very important. That can help a lot. You're basically carefully choreographing your fingers to know like exactly where is this finger going, and starting that movement before you go for the chord. And then snap motion is where your fingers work together. And imagine if you snap your fingers, click your fingers like that your fingers, or that you can apply that to even basic chord changes, like A minor to E to C or something, right? So you go E major, snap your fingers, change to the C, right? I'll show you that. I'll go back to the large screen here. So you got the E major, snap, and you see how the fingers they all just work together, instant change, and then we'll snap the fingers again back to the E chord. Snap, 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 snap. Right, so you want to develop that sort of, it's almost like a fast twitch fiber type of movement of the muscles, not this kind of slow, like one at a time, right? That type of movement often causes pauses, hesitations, sloppy transitions, and that sort of thing. So those are some things to develop. Anyway, we've just barely scratched the surface there, but there's a little bit of an overview of 2025. Maybe we'll do another one. Oh, we didn't even mention Christmas carols. We did Christmas carols. I'll have to do another session, I reckon. There's just so much great work that the members have done, and over the year, it's just amazing. So I'll aim to do another session soon. Yeah, but please, if you have any questions, if you're watching this, recording, please pop in a question in the chat, and try and keep tabs of questions and things. So, and well done to the Creative Classical Guitarist members. It's been a great year as usual, very, very productive. You've kept me very busy. I've so much great music to learn and continue to look out for. Just phenomenal. So let's do another session soon. And yeah, hope you're doing well in the lead up to Christmas. Merry Christmas. See you next time.